Hi, I'm Jacob, and this is Will. We're developers at Bendyworks, and we share an interest in weather and doing things in code with weather. We wanted to share a couple of our favorite resources. What's yours?
Well, one of my favorite sources for weather data and weather APIs in general is the Dark Sky API. This might be something that's familiar to those of you that have used their actual app, Dark Sky. It's really nice on its own, but they actually provide a fully featured API with a fairly generous free tier. So I thought I'd give you some quick examples of what you can do with that. So what we're looking at here is an instance of Hugin that I've set up. Hugin is a Ruby-based personal automation tool. It's kind of like a more friendly, personal, usable version of AWS Lambda. So you can get data from a bunch of sources, mess around with it, pipe it together, slice it up. And so what I'm doing here is sending a request to the Dark Sky API, which used to be called Forecastio, for the location, for the lat long of the Bendyworks office. And we can take a look at some of the data that we're getting back here. So we get some of the normal expected weather data. We get precipitation probability, which is nothing because today is a nice sunny day, temperature, all that good stuff. But we actually get some other cool, more fine-grained data at the grain of hourly, minutely, and daily. So we get a kind of human-friendly hourly summary here, but then it breaks down further into a minutely summary and estimation of precipitation chances for everything from 1 minute to an hour from now. And then that zooms out further on from an hourly summary to even further down this long JSON object, a daily summary there. So it's kind of interesting. There's probably a lot of different things you can do with the data at those different levels of granularity. But one of the interesting things that I've built for it is a little bit of automation that lets me know when it's likely to rain or storm or snow soon, and it's not something especially complicated. It just watches those hourly summaries for some keywords, in this case rain, storm, or snow, and is hooked up to push bullet to send me push notifications when it's about to rain. And I think there's a lot of other things that I'd like to play around with and try here. But there's quite a bit of data that you can work with. How about you, Jacob?
Well, first, I assume because the granularity on your data here goes at the minute level. Is this refreshing every minute? Are they generating that right when you make the?
Yeah. So it's making a request to the endpoint for. I can't get I'm using the wrong keyboard. So this agent is. See if we can find the URL here, or actually maybe we'll not find it because it's got my API key in it. But it's making a request to a URL with the Bendyworks lat long, and it's doing it I think once every 10 minutes. So like I mentioned, Dark Sky allows you to use I think 1,000 requests per day for free. So obviously if you're trying to build a commercial app or something like that with this type of tool, you'd have to be making more frequent requests and actually pay for it. But if you're just working on your own personal project, you can get those minutely data just by making a request every few minutes.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was what I wanted to show off. Was there anything in particular you wanted to take a look at?
Oh, absolutely. So I've been involved in storm spotting, and I have an interest in severe weather and the warnings and whatnot that the Weather Service puts out. So a way to catch those I've used in the past is Iowa State University's IEM bot. Now, it has an HTML web interface that you can keep an eye on in the middle of a storm if you just want to keep track of what the Weather Service is issuing. So this is currently Milwaukee, since Madison falls in their forecast area. And you can click on and get details in almost real-ish time as they issue Forecast discussions or warnings or dense fog, I guess that was yesterday morning. And you can click on these and actually get the text if you want.
And that's the raw content that the Weather Service puts out, right?
Right. And if there were any warnings here, like here's a beachhead. Oh, that's a beachhead statement. But if you wanted warning information, like they give you a pretty cool interface to look at warnings and whatnot when they come up. Not so useful if you want to do stuff automated, but if you're looking at it directly during an event, the web interface is great.
But yeah, sadly, we've had some pretty nice weather around here for the past 2 days, so it's not as much to show you all.
Weather nerds complaining about the sun. So the other way you can access IEMBot is through, one of the other ways you can interface with IEMBot is through Jabber. They have a service set up where they will send those products that the Weather Service is issuing and sort of send them into specific channels based on what office issued it, what counties are caught by that particular warning. Here's an example for a severe thunderstorm warning. They're saying they would put it in, I think this is the county code, California County.
California, yeah.
Yep. MTR is the weather office, and they split things out, so they'll do some of the filtering for you.
Cool. So you could, like, in theory, build a bot to key into one of those particular channels or tags.
Right.
Use that for filtering. Nice.
Right. It can catch the message that went to that channel, and then you can send that wherever you want to send that for your own alerting system for the things you specifically care about.
Very cool.
Now, you do end up having, you can also have this send to Twitter if you want. So anyway, you can use this and you get sort of IEMBot's formatting for the messages and whatnot. And that's maybe not a problem if you just want to know what's going on. But if you want a little more control over what happens when you get a message, and possibly it might be a little bit faster because you'll go direct to the source. The NOAA, the Weather Service has a service called the NOAA Weather Wire Service.
Lots of dubs.
Lots of dubs. And the open interface is another XMPP-based way to get a whole fire hose of what the Weather Service is issuing. You do need a username and password. You have to request that from the Weather Service, and that's free. But you do have to get credentials, and once you do that, then they put a lot of the specific weather, the details about the products that are being issued are in like the X headers,
so you can get
attributes
that further
in
more
XMPP.
refined information.
Right. So you have to do a little bit more work to get at the information you want, since you'll have to filter it and fetch the info out yourself. But you might have a little more flexibility that you wouldn't have with IEMBot if you need it.
But yeah, it's all there, and I think that's kind of one of the themes that we notice in working with some of these tools and resources is just that there's so much data out there, and it's a lot of it is a public service, so it's available for free.
You just have to find it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the trick is parsing it out, especially because a lot of, like we saw one of the examples when we clicked through one of the IEMBot messages that the Weather Service puts out a lot of their forecasting in just a more or less human readable text format, but which is great and fun for weather nerds such as ourselves to read through, but kind of tricky to parse at a machine level. So there's a lot of different kind of interesting ways forward there that you might be able to do with some machine learning or some other text handling software.
Yeah.
And I know, we both have some ideas going forward. We were talking the other day about Jacob had an idea for how to restrict the alert to a particular polygon for a particular area. And I would like to go a little bit. I would like to do some things to debounce my weather notifications. So when I am checking every 10 minutes that it's going to rain, I'm not getting a notification that says it's going to be raining when I look outside and it's raining.
Hey, it's going to rain.
Yeah, right. Don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows.
It's not raining today, though.
But so there, yeah, I think there's a lot more that we could do here, and that would be totally interested in hearing if anybody watching this has any ideas or any weather projects they've worked on. We absolutely love this stuff and would love to hear from you and any ideas that you might have.
Yeah.